Alright, today we're going to be reviewing the Nikon Monarch Riflescope. The one we have here is a 5-20 power with the BDC ballistic reticle. So we're going to be talking about a couple issues. The first one is how well it holds at zero. The second thing is how clear it is. The third thing is its zoom capabilities. Fourth thing is its focus and parallax adjustment. The fifth thing is its reticle. The next thing is the turret system, price, the fog-proof, waterproof capabilities, and the last thing is the extras. The first one, every rifle scope needs to hold at zero. We have this one on a Savage 338 Win Mag, so that produces quite a lot of recoil. And the scope is held at zero very well. So that, as far as how I've rated that, I've given that a 9 out of 10. It's done a great job on that. It's always held its zero perfectly. We're getting about consistently 3/4 MOA groupings with the 338. My best grouping has been just over half MOA. So that's pretty decent. So the next issue is clarity. The clarity of the scope is actually really good. So that's kind of where this one shines. I gave that a 10 out of 10 for clarity. It's a 5-20 power. So the next feature is how well it zooms. And 20 power is pretty good. So for this price range, it's kind of the best thing as far as zoom and clarity for that zoom. It's pretty good there. So as far as zoom, I gave it out a 9 out of 10. You know, I'd like to go to 25 power. That'd be better. As far as because I do mostly long range shooting, but it does pretty well as far as that goes. Okay, now we're going to talk about the focus and parallax adjustment. So the parallax adjustment is on the side, the left side. It's got different yardages on it. You just pull it out. You can then turn it to whatever yardage you would like. And I found those to be pretty accurate yardages, and then you just simply push back in and it locks it in place. So it seems to work pretty well. The focus is back here, and you just you turn this either right or left to adjust your eye relief so that it's focused where your eye is, and then the zoom is right up here on top, so it goes from 5 all the way over to 20 power. And all those things seem to work pretty well, so we'll give those a 9 out of 10 as well. So this is what the reticle looks like. You can see that it's got dots. So theoretically the 0 for 100 yards would be in the center of the crosshairs, 200 yards would be the first bubble down, 300, 400, and 500 yards. It actually works out that 600 yards is pretty near the where the line gets thick. It was kind of a pain to figure out. Where the different how many MOAs it was. So I had to actually measure it. I called Nikon and they told me, but their the customer service lady, she didn't really understand shooting. So, but she was able to answer my questions good enough that I could figure it out. So just for your information here, I had to call the company as far as what all these things mean. This is kind of a rough sketch, very rough. This is in my logbook here of what the reticle looks like. So I have all the measurements here. You can call the company and get them. There's a customer service line. There's 3.5 MOA on 20 power from this side here to this side here. There's 1 MOA to the top of the bubble, 2 MOAs to the center of the bubble. The center of the next bubble is 4.5 MOAs. The center of the next bubble is 7 MOA. The next bubble down is 11 MOA. And then the bottom one is 15 MOA. So that for me works out pretty close at a lot of altitudes to what I'm shooting with my 338. And so it's kind of good, kind of bad, because it happens to match up. The thing I don't like about it is that that's for 20 power. So you know, here's 5 power. It's completely different. You know, there's the first bubble on 5 power is 8 MOA down, then 18, 24, so 44, and 60 MOA for the last one. So anyway, you can kind of figure out what they all are. So if you want these, I guess I'll show them. But the thing you have to make sure of is that you have the right power setting. So that's kind of a pain if you're actually going to use the ballistic reticle. But you know, it's good for a quick shot, but frankly, I mean, if you're trying to do a quick shot, it's going to be in the 5 MOA range, and that's pretty useless. So it'd be better if the reticle actually was a fixed reticle, so as you went through the power settings it didn't change. In my opinion, that'd be much better. So that's as far as the power, the reticle goes, at least. Okay, the next thing is the turrets. As far as the turrets goes, it comes actually with a variety. It comes with a whole package. 3 different turrets. It's got the large ball ones like this. It's got the high profile ones like I have on the elevation right there. And it also comes with the low profile ones like I have on the windage right there. So as far as the turrets go, these ones here are pretty easy to use. Let me tilt it this way. So they do have, you know, as you're looking, you can see it's high profile, so it's easy to use. It's got the up marked on there. It's clearly got these marked. It goes in 8 MOA increments. That's probably the big downfall of this thing. It also has no stop for 0, so you can go past it. It's got lines in there. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but yeah, you can. So you can mark right down where you are, but there's no actual stop, so you could be off by a rotation, which that's pretty common in a lot of guns with turrets like this. So there's the windage one. So the wind is a lower profile one, which just fits in the case better. I actually put on the first 2 scopes, these Nikon ones. I put on these high profile ones on both the windage and elevation. These ones here have covers, so you can actually protect the elevation and windage knobs, which I keep on there all the time unless I'm adjusting it, because the first 2 scopes I had broke. What would happen is I would stick it in the case and put the case on, and then, you know, maybe put another gun on it and something, and it'd actually break the turret off, and then I no longer had a functioning firearm. So that's kind of the turrets. As I kind of said before, the big downfall of this is that it comes in 8 MOA adjustment. If it was quarter MOA, it'd be much better. In my opinion, that's perfectly fine enough for shooting. The 8th MOA adjustments mean that you have to go. You can see it only has 6 MOA, so in one rotation. So when I shoot out at, you know, say 800 yards, that's 20 MOA. So I have to go around several times to get that far. So it can be easy to lose count, number one. But the worst part is that the whole gun only has approximately, you know, in the manual I believe it says 32 MOA adjustment total. But in reality it's probably got maybe 50. It's actually better than that, because to shoot at 1,000 yards, I need 32 MOA at the altitude I'm at, and I barely get that. Actually, I can only get about 30, just about 31. So I'm just barely under being able to shoot 1,000 yards at my altitude, which is about well, when I'm shooting about 5,000 feet, and, you know, depending on the day and the density altitude, I'll be able to get there or not. So that's probably the worst part. But realize on here I have a 20 MOA rail. So if you don't have a 20 MOA, you can subtract 20 MOA from that, which means you probably are only going to be able to get 15 MOA, which is which is probably only going to get you out to 600 yards in this, you know, in a 308, 338, that's probably going to get you about to 600 yards. So if you're okay with that, then that's fine. If not, you're going to have to buy a 20 MOA rail, and even then you're going to max out at probably just under 1,000 yards. If you're at sea level, you won't be able to get there. 900 will be your max, 950, something like that. So that's probably the worst, the thing I like least about this firearm, or the scope, is that it's got that limited turret adjustment, and the turret's broke, so you need to make sure you keep the covers on them, or they'll break on you. And luckily Cabalas was really good about, Cabalas exchanged both of them for me, and they said, you know, put the covers on it and keep it on there, and if it breaks they'll switch it again. So they were really good to take care of me. No complaints with Cabalas. I just wish Nikon had made it a little more sturdy and probably a little less fine as far as the adjustment goes, but kind of nice to have the fine, but I'd rather have quarter MOA for sure. The other thing is the price. I paid for this $440, so that's not bad. You know, clarity wise, I mean, it's just as good as anything else. You know, all the other things we talked about are extremely good. The only real negative is just the adjustment, and the fact that you only got 30 MOA max, even if you got a 20 MOA rail on there. So other than that, you know, waterproof, fog proof, it does great on those. I've had it in the, you know, when it's been raining extremely hard. I've had it in 0 degree weather, below 0 degree weather, hunting in the mountains with it. It's done great on fog, water, being frozen and thawed every night, and it's done great on all those things. All right, the last thing we're going to talk about here is the little extras that it came with. I already talked about the fact that it comes with extra knobs and knob covers for all except the one set. That's pretty nice. I like the fact that you can choose the high profile or the low profile knobs. It came with covers for both sides and a sunshade. So all those things were pretty nice. No complaints there. Kind of just an extra little bonus as far as the package goes. That's my 2 cents as far as the Nikon Monarch goes. All in all, it's been a good scope, so that's what it is. So if you got any comments, post it. I'd love to get to them and let you know what I think about anything and help you out if you're thinking about purchasing one of these. So that's it.